If you don't know who I am yet, you're in trouble.
Get out!
You are dead. All right. So today, Axel pinned it really nicely. It's the art of negotiations. Almost every agent considers themselves a good negotiator. But most are not because they don't have good sales skills, guys. But what is negotiating? Put up your hand. What do you guys think? Yell it out. What is negotiating? To get the best deal, right? And finding out what the other side wants. It's basically the seller and the buyer putting them together. That's it. If you keep it as simple as that, you don't have to be emotional about things. Because emotion and drama kill negotiating power. Jack, yes?
Try to reach an agreement.
Try to reach an agreement. Is that ChatGPT or Google? Google, right. See, control what you say to the client. A lot of times, guys, you got to think about this. You are not buying the home and you are not selling the home. We are representing the seller and the buyer to get the job done, right? But sometimes we are so attached to the outcome because we're attached to the result, which is money. Don't be attached to the money, guys. If you get the job done, if you negotiate well, you will get the money. But if you're attached to the money, you're going in the wrong direction. All right. Controlled emotions are an asset and uncontrolled emotions are a liability. So what do I mean by that? See, a lot of times we get emotional about the contract, we get emotional about the other side, and it comes back to the word ego, right? Do you know who I am? Do you know how long I've been in real estate, right? People will always use that. But truth of the matter is, it doesn't matter. I'm here to negotiate on behalf of my clients, and yet I'm working with you, either the seller or the buyer's agent, to put the deal together so everybody can create a win-win situation. Does that make sense? Getting to an agreement in a win-win situation, not about you, it's about them. Ultimately, we are acting on behalf of the buyers and the seller to get the job done. It's not about us. It's not about our ego. It's not even about the deal, right? It's about helping our clients get what they want. And if you can just keep your mind on that, then negotiating will be really, really easy. You're not a part of the negotiation itself, so don't let your commission get dragged into it. Who gets dragged into this a lot during negotiation, putting their commissions in? Put up your hand. And why do you put it into negotiations?
It was my first deal.
Okay. Just say fuck it? Okay. I appreciate you being honest. Who else? And why do you do that? Putting your commissions into the deal. Ram?
Yeah, John, I was in many situations in the past. Sometimes when I'm focusing in certain area, I don't want to lose this deal. I already have my sign on and I don't want the deal to fall through over the price. So maybe just giving you a commission to make this deal happen.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. And you usually, how much would you kick in
Feeding
to?
my ego.
Sorry?
My ego.
Feeding your ego to get the job done, right? Yeah. And that's totally okay. But guys, it's not a part of the negotiation. Your commission is what you earned. If you get a great price for the seller, you're not kicking it back in. Now, would there be some incentives sometimes that we can give to our sellers? Like, okay, well, I won't kick in any commissions, but be happy to help you move. What is that, a couple $100s? People just want a good deal. They don't necessarily want to cut your commission by half. And if they do, you can simply walk away because you can always get another deal, can't you? So don't be attached to the outcome. Just make sure, guys, you remain profitable. Write this down, profit first, profit first. If you don't have profits, you don't have a business. And if you don't have a business, then you got to go get a job. It's simple, right? If you don't have profits, you don't have nothing, right? Don't be afraid to ask them to accept the transaction as it stands. So a lot of times, I was just talking to Tim on the trip in Japan, and he said, well, I sold the property, but I feel like I could have gotten the seller more. And I feel like I wanted to get him more. I told him that we could get more, but the seller said, no, don't worry about it. And he actually felt bad about the deal. Why? Ego. That's right, because I want to look good as the sales agent. But when in fact, you've already done your job, right? So don't be afraid to ask people to accept the offer as is. So when I get an offer, either it be a low ball or be a high offer or something out of this world, I always say three things. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I'm so glad we got an offer on the table for you. We have a couple of options right now. Either it be a low ball offer, a good offer, or a high offer. You can either accept this offer as is, as it stands, or you can counter the offer based on what you want, or number three, you can completely decline the offer. Based on what you want want your time frame and your goals. What would you like to do based on what the offer, what the buyer has given you? Make sense, guys? But a lot of times we do this. Oh my God, I don't even know how to present this to you. It's such a low ball offer. I'm so sorry to bring this to you. Here it is. That's again what? Our ego, because we want to look good. But it's just a matter of fact. Accept, counter, or decline. Fair enough? Both agents should have the same goal in mind. A signed contract to find out what the goal. To find out if the goal is the same, ask all parties a lot of questions, right? We all have the same goal. But again, we want to look good to the other, to the buyer or the seller that we're acting on behalf of, right? And that's why a lot of times we are working against them. See guys, we are negotiating with them, not against them. Even with your own seller, your own buyer, right? We're working with them and we're working with the other agent. I would always ask the buyer's agent, hey, first off, I just want to say thank you for bringing the offer forward, and I want to make sure that this goes as smoothly as possible. Are we on the same page, right? And then we can set the tone from there and make sure that we have the same goal in mind. It's not your seller trying to get the most possible or my buyer trying to get the least possible. We're trying to make sure that everybody wins, right? Coming back to win-win again. Finding the common ground, right? Because if at the end of the day, everybody just wants to get the job done, at the end of the day, also we want to feel good about it, right? A lot of times we accept the deal, we don't actually feel good about it, right? Because it's not a win-win. You feel like you've taken a piece of your kidney or something and you just gave it to them, right? We can't win every transaction that we are involved in. We simply can't, guys. And don't be attached to the outcome. Like I always say, Mike Ferry always says, show up, pay attention, work hard, and don't be attached to the outcome. And deals falling apart or deals not coming together, Amraj, that's part of the business. So when I say, okay, well, I want 150 listings sold in a year, I would always have the budget at least 20% falling apart due to subjects not being removed. And in a shittier market, it's actually 28 to 30% falling apart. But if you, again, track your numbers and know that that's part of the business, then you won't be emotionally attached. It's just part of the business. I know 28% of the time, all the accepted offers are going to fall apart. And a lot of times in a shittier market, Joe, I would prep the sellers like this. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, congratulations on the accepted offer. We're going to keep showing the home until it's absolutely sold firm. Can I share with you why? Okay. 28% of the time right now, Joe, contracts are falling apart, either due to the buyers changing their mind, financing, appraisal not coming through, or the inspection didn't come back well. Anything can happen during the transaction, but rest assured, I'm going to be in communication with you every step of the way during the transaction. Does that sound fair? Perfect. That's only the first step. I just want you to know, okay? Does that make sense? Yeah. But if you prep them like that and the deal falls apart, damn it, let's go get another one. But if you didn't prep them, they're like, what happened, Joe? I thought you said this is the done deal. People think it's the done deal when it's accepted offer. It's like realtors posting on social media, accepted offer, yay. Doesn't mean anything. Sorry if you do post that on social media and calling you out. I think what I'm getting from this, guys, is remove your ego, always go for the win-win, and always be in communication with the seller, setting the right expectations with the sellers and buyers so they are happy with the results, right? When you communicate with your sellers and your buyers and make sure that they're not surprised by anything, that's good service. You never want to have surprises from the buyers and the sellers, for the buyers and the sellers. And get this, you never want to get a call from your clients that you're currently working with, because that means that they're surprised by something. Isn't it true? Yeah, exactly. So you need to overcall your clients during the transaction, negotiating or not. You make sure that every step of the way, they know exactly what to expect, what's going on. And if you set the right expectations, let's say before an inspection, right, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, there's thousands of parts to a house. And a lot of times during an inspection, 20 to 30 items may come back and they may want to renegotiate the price or have you do all the repairs. And when the inspection comes back, there's only 10 items. You're like, Joe, let me do the repairs. We got a deal. It's good to go. But if you didn't tell them that and they come back with 10 items, what the hell? Make sense? Always set the right expectations and over communicate with your buyers and sellers, current, past, or future. All right, any questions about negotiating?